I'd like to welcome you all to the Healthy Body part of Be Well Day. Today we have Stephanie Fusnik as well as Justin Andrushko. Did I say that right? Okay, good. I've been practicing. They're two PhD students in the College of Kinesiology, and they're going to be spending some time with you today talking about body movement and kind of some of the theory behind that. So I'm going to pass the mic over to them. I hope everybody enjoys this session, and take care.
Thank you. There you go. Okay, so my name is Stephanie Fusnik. I'm a PhD student in the College of Kinesiology. My area of research is cardiovascular integrative physiology, but my research predominantly works with children with congenital heart disease. However, I do have a large background in exercise. I've been working for the University of Saskatchewan for the Human Performance Center for about 4.5, 5 years now. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now.
And my name is Justin Andrushko, also a PhD student in College of Kin. I study neuromuscular physiology, specifically something called cross-education, which is kind of a cool neurophenomena where you train one arm and it actually impacts your other, which has applications when it comes to injury and that kind of thing. But we're not talking about that today. We're going to be focusing on healthy movement. I just want to stress real quick that I know this session is about an hour long. We have a very simple message for you today, and we probably don't expect to actually need the entire time, and we're hoping that this is very back and forth. So if you've got any questions or just make if you have a comment to make, just let us know. Raise your hand or shout it out, and we're happy to have that back and forth throughout this session. Start.
And also, if you want to stand up at any point and just pace and stuff, if you're sick of sitting, go ahead. That's totally fine as well. Okay, so with that, we'll get started. The first thing that we're going to show you today is the U of S Fit Center just released a new video, an informational video. So we're just going to play that for you guys today, just to give you some information about some great stuff that's available on campus for you guys to be physically active.
Welcome to the PAC. The first thing you do when you arrive is swipe your student or staff card. Your card is not only important to access the PAC, but also your equipment and towels.
Stop at our desk for a towel, equipment for the gym, goggles and rackets for squash and racquetball, and the change rooms and lockers are down the hall.
The PAC has large locker rooms, including family and private change rooms. The PAC also has individual showers for your personal privacy. Now you're ready to enjoy everything the center has to offer.
Yes, we even have an indoor climbing wall.
You're back at the PAC front desk, the entrance to the Fit Center.
We understand that getting to know a new gym can be intimidating. Our friendly staff is always around to answer any questions that you might have.
The Fit Center also provides certified personal trainers to help you reach your fitness goals.
We're right here on campus waiting for you.
Okay, so that was a little tour of what the physical activity complex has to offer. We also have, as we mentioned before, personal training, so that's a human performance center. So Jason Weber is the coordinator for that. So there's about, I believe, 15 of us trainers now. Some of us also have our exercise therapy certification as well. So prices are up there if anyone's ever interested. Jason Weber's contact information is on there as well, or you can fill out an online form if that's something you're ever interested in. And we fit your needs based with certain trainers that we think would best help you with those needs. So it could be anything just from getting healthier to specific chronic pain stuff, previous injuries, things like that. So benefits of physical activity, I'm sure lots of you guys have heard awesome things about it. But here's just a few points, and there's many, many more. So you can have, it helps improve body weight, so it'll get you to a healthy body weight, increase productivity and energy levels, improved mood and mental well-being, decreased risk of many different chronic diseases such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and some cancers. Helps get your blood pressure to healthy levels, you'll sleep better, you'll have decreased pain, increased bone and muscle strength, and the list can go on and on and on.
Okay, so what I have on the screen here is the Canadian guidelines for physical activity for the ages of 18 to 64 years of age, which is probably most people in this room. This comes out from the, I think I already said it, Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology. And there are actually guidelines on their website for basically any age population and also special populations as well. So, as you just heard, there are many benefits of movement and physical activity. But what they're suggesting here is that you should be trying to get about 150 minutes per week. And by doing that, you really decrease your risk of mortality. And what else we got here? Increasing bone strength and that kind of stuff. So why 150 minutes? Right here is some of the literature for the reason why. And it does have to do with decreasing risk of mortality risks. So what they found is moving from inactive states to about 75 to 90 minutes per week, which is only about 11 to 13 minutes of vigorous or moderate to vigorous physical activity. They found about a 15% reduction in that risk of mortality. Then when they moved to 150 minutes, which is the current guidelines, which is only about 21 and a half minutes per day, they saw about a 32 to 44% reduction in that risk. And then when we go a little more extreme to 750 minutes, which is hour and 47 minutes per day, they only saw about a 50 to 60% reduction. So to put that into a figure here, as you can see, it's kind of a curvilinear relationship with on the y-axis, you've got that all-cause mortality risk, and then on the bottom, minutes of physical activity. And so the 150 minutes is really kind of honing in on that best bang for your buck at the beginning of what we're calling here about a plateau. So really, it's only, as I said here, about 22 minutes, 21 and a half minutes per day of movement to really decrease your risk of mortality. So, what we're doing today is talking about movement, and I'm sure you've been sitting all day just in these sessions. So what we want to encourage, as I said earlier, it's a very simple message. We want to encourage movement throughout your day, throughout your work week. So let's all stand up. And I've just got a quick, fairly simple, quick exercise for us to do here. So we're all going to stand here. You want to demonstrate? Because I got the microphone. Yep. So we're going to do high knee standing march just for 10 seconds. Get those knees nice and high. Good. Keep going. Perfect. Okay, so now I have wall push up there, but it would probably take too long and I don't see enough open wall space, but we do have chairs, so we're going to do push-ups on the chair. Just like this. Just 10 push-ups. Awesome. Great job. Okay, then another very quick and simple exercise is just standing on one foot. So bring your knee nice and high, standing on one foot for about 15 seconds each leg. Try and squeeze your core and keep good posture throughout the movement. If you want a little challenge, close your eyes. Good, let's switch legs. I'm not actually counting. I don't know if that was actually 15 seconds or not. Awesome. Okay, one last one. Let's just do some big arm circles, 5 forward and 5 back. And once you're done that, you can sit down. Awesome job, everyone. So that's just one example of how quick and easy it is to just fit in a little bit of exercise into your day.
Okay, so now we're going to go over some of the statistics that make me a little bit sad, so hopefully we can all work together to try and improve these statistics. So in 2012 and 2013, we got some statistics done from the Canadian Statistics, and what they found was that we spend more than 9 hours a day being sedentary, and that's for people from 18 plus. So all adults are spending about more than 9 hours per day sitting. And only 20% of adults in Canada currently meet those physical activity guidelines. So that's your 150 minutes per week or 21 minutes per day. So only 20% of the population is meeting those recommended guidelines. So as you can see on the graph, as you can see on the graph here, that first grouping there is all adults. Then it breaks it off into 18 to 39. So our 20 to 40-year-olds are the most sedentary of all of our groups, which is kind of concerning. And then that does go down with age a little bit, but that is a huge, huge concern for us. Okay, so everyone has heard that sitting is the new smoking and it's super bad for you. So if you are stuck at a desk all day, what are some things that you can do? Well, we're just going to look at this graph here first. So on the bottom, we have hours per day sitting. So there's 1 hour, 1 to 2 hours, 3 to 4 hours, and greater than 5 hours. So as we know, most Canadians spend more than 9 hours seated per day. So that's going to put you on the right side. So then we have our 4 groups, and our 4 groups are how many hours of activity you're getting per week. So that third group, that 27 minutes per day, that's about where the Canadian guidelines are currently. So if you are meeting those guidelines, which is only 20% of our population, if you're sitting more than 5 hours a day, you still have a pretty high all-case mortality risk there. And then if you move over to the left, that's the most active in this group, so 60 to 75 minutes per day. As you can see, if they're sitting more than 5 hours per day, their all-case mortality is quite a bit lower than the other groups. And then less sitting, the better. So as you can see, just because you're being a little bit active during the day doesn't necessarily mean it's going to benefit you all that much if you're sitting all the time. So we have to try and find ways to break up that sitting, get you moving in everyday life. So another exercise break, so everyone gets to stand up again. Okay. So for our first one, it's going to be a squat, or what we like to call a sit to stand. So you're going to do 10 of those. You're going to try and stay nice and tall, keep the weight in the heels of your body, so don't sneak up on your toes, and try not to let your toes come too far over your knees come too far over your toes. So you're going to try and do 10 of those, and Justin's going to demonstrate for you. So try and stay nice and tall. Try not to lean forward when you're standing up. You should really feel like your butt and the front of your legs are working. So 10 of those. Okay, once you're done your 10 sit to stands or your 10 squats, we're going to get everyone to do one lap just around this half of the room, get some steps in. So we'll go counterclockwise. Okay, so once you get back to your spot, we're going to do calf raises. So you're basically just going to stand on your tiptoes, try and stay nice and tall. If you need assistance from a chair for balance, absolutely do that. So 10 of those guys. And then because we are seated all the time, stretching out muscles is very important because we do get tight from sitting all the time, certain muscles. So then you're just going to do an overhead stretch for 15 seconds that Justin's going to demonstrate. For 15 seconds. And good. You can have a seat if you like. So there are some simple daily goals that we want to try and encourage everyone to get to try and decrease the amount of time we're sitting since it is so detrimental to our health. So some simple goals that can help you get started and get some of those healthy habits going is to try and aim for 250 steps minimum every hour. So what you can do is set a timer or an alarm for every hour, and 250 steps is not very far. For example, in our building, from our office to the water fountain and back is about 200 steps. So just to get up and do that every hour is a good way to just stand up, refresh. It also helps with productivity, reset your mind, things like that. Or you can set a timer for every 30 minutes and do 2 minutes of physical activity. So there's actually studies out there that have found that to actually negate the effects of sitting, if you set a timer for every 30 minutes to an hour and do 2 minutes of activity, whether that's stuff that we were just doing now, doing a 2-minute walk, walking up and down the stairs for 2 minutes, any 2 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity that's going to get your heart rate up just a little bit can actually help eliminate the previous 30 minutes to 1 hour of sitting. So then you can also do things like take the stairs, take your water fountain break, stand up, do a stretch. Just anything to get you standing and moving is going to be super beneficial in the long run for you.
So as she was saying, one of the things on this list is encouraging people to take the stairs. So in kinesiology, we have an elevator right as you walk in the door, just like most buildings do. But we have a sort of an unofficial rule that if you're in kinesiology and you're able, we want you to take the stairs. And we typically give people a bit of a hard time, like one professor in particular, we give a hard time for taking the elevator when it's not necessary. And it's really about being an advocate of what we're trying to become. We're here to learn about movement sciences, so we're trying to encourage that movement within ourselves. And but there's a line, like we need not just movement in kinesiology, we need movement across Canada, across the world really, because just like I was talking about earlier about the mortality rates, if we're thinking about movement and health as a global healthcare perspective, just 10% reduction. I went to a presentation the other day and it was something like 10% reduction in mortality equals something like $2 billion in Canadian healthcare. So this is more than just for yourself, it's a global thing, and we all need to really get up and move. And that's, I know it seems stupid when we're asking you to get up, take a little lap, but it's really, think of everything that we're doing as just an example of how easy it is to move. And that goes back to what I was saying, it's a very simple message. If you want to stand up while we're presenting, that's totally okay. Anything to negate the negative side effects of sitting. So I have here just a list of a bunch of different things you can do while you're at your desk or around the office. I'm not going to go through every one of them. The first one on the exercise list, though, squeezing your shoulder blades. If you picture a finger or a pencil between your shoulder blades and just try and pinch it back, that's something that's really beneficial for people, especially that have desk computer jobs, because what we typically have is rounded backs. Actually, I think we had a picture right there. Rounded back, rolled shoulders, so we get tight chest muscles, and really just focusing on pulling that back throughout the day will help correct that posture and help the negative side effects of that. So that's one I would really encourage. Another one that you actually suggested is, I can't do this, is just while you're at your desk, sitting, just simple leg kicks, doing something like that. It's just movement. I mean, we're still sitting, so there's the negative parts of that, but it's some form of movement, and anything is better than nothing. And then, of course, we've got stretches on your right there, and those are all obviously very beneficial too. It's important that we're not only strengthening, but we're also getting that mobility as well. So before I became a grad student here at University of Saskatchewan, I actually had a job in Fort McMurray working at a recreation facility. And I had a desk, I had a cubicle, and when I was at that job, it was about 50% doing sports activities for kids, and the other 50% was at my desk. And I remember back then I actually went and I did a Google search on desk activities, desk exercises, and I tried to find it for you today, but I was unsuccessful in finding the specific thing that I printed off and had at my desk. But it was basically a picture of just all these different exercises that I could do while sitting. So like I said, I couldn't find the exact one, but I'm just trying to show you here that you don't necessarily need to be writing down every little thing we're doing here, because it's not really that important what it is, as long as it's something. A simple Google search can help you with tons of suggestions on what you can be doing. And that's really all we have for you today. Mm-hmm. Are there any questions? Yeah, so moderate is basically a brisk walk.
Yeah.
Like that's like the simplest way to think of it. Something that's going to get your heart rate up a little bit. So think of your normal walk that's really relaxed, just moving a little bit faster than that. That's going to get your heart rate elevated a little bit, and that's what they're considering as moderate.
So like a heart rate of like 100 to 120. So it'd be like a heart rate of like 100 to 120. It's not anything super crazy. It's just enough to get your heart pumping a little bit. Might feel a little bit warm, but nothing super crazy. So it's not anything, like you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to go lift weights. It's just taking the stairs, going for a short walk, anything like that.
And one other thing I want to add is I was actually talking to my supervisor before this talk earlier today about his strategies, because he's actually really good at making sure he does exercise throughout the week. And he's a very busy guy. He's at his desk all the time. And one suggestion he gave that I want to share with you is think about exercise as a meeting or something important in your schedule. Book it, and don't let it be something that you drop because you're getting busy. If you value exercise and your health to the same extent as your job, then if you book that and you honor that, then you're ensuring that you've taken that time out of your day to make sure that you're still getting that. So I thought that was actually really good advice.
And usually people say they're very tired, but physical activity and being active helps decrease your fatigue. You're more productive, usually sleep better. So even if you're tired at the end of the day, just going for honestly a 10-minute walk, you're gonna feel so much better than if you just went home and sat on the couch. I know it's hard to like mentally get yourself there, but it's worth it. So all-case mortality is based off of a lot of things, so lots of risk factors. So that would be like things like obesity, your BMI, blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, all those kinds of things. So all those things kind of get weighted and contribute to your risk of mortality. So when we talk about all-case mortality in terms of like those graphs and decreasing it, it's decreasing those risk factors, which are going to decrease your risk of early mortality.
You probably know this, but mortality is basically death. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Anything else? No? Cool. Well, thank you everybody for coming.